What is this? What happened? Ant!
Yeah.
Oh my. What's going on right now? Where's the tables, the microphones, the wires? Where is everything?
I don't know.
And I have a show to do in 20 minutes. I can't. Matt, how are you?
Bud?
Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, pal.
What is this? Why are you?
Good to see you, man.
The champ is here. What are you a champ? Is there a champ? Are you a champ of something?
Yeah, I compete in air guitar competitions.
Great.
Yeah, right?
That's great.
I know, it is. Yeah,
right.
thanks.
Matt, do you know where I have like a bunch of like microphones and everything?
Yeah, you had all this like.
Show?
Yeah, I was here before. It was set up. I don't know. Somebody must have moved.
Yeah,
it.
I know. There was a setup here because I set it up.
Yeah.
Why do you have this on? What is this?
This GoPro.
Yes,
I'm a hero, and I'm
That's
recording
funny.
my
I get that. You get
That's
that?
funny.
I got
That's
that.
funny.
Yeah,
hero duties.
So you didn't see anybody?
No, nope. I heard some noises outside.
You heard some noises.
I heard some.
I'll go check it out.
I'd be so bold as to call them suspicious sounding. So.
Suspicious.
Probably Alex.
All right, I'm gonna check that out. But you just, if you see anybody, if you see
I'll let
something,
him know.
say something.
The set's gone. I got it.
Lost in a sea of combat boots, flesh of bastard with wasted youth. We're deep of breath because we'll see, and we can sing my country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty.
We never know when to start the show. That's the problem.
I'm starting.
We just end up starting.
We already hit 1 minute.
Are we ready? A minute?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to Mind Over Movies, episode number 8. Matt Burns is here today. How about that performance? Huh?
Great,
Look at that.
great, Matt.
The
Great.
crowd is here. We love that.
You
We
guys.
love that.
Making me
Matt,
blush.
we have so much to get to today, but I'm so happy that you were on the show here.
Happy to be here. bud.
Obviously, anybody who's watching this right now just saw your wonderful performance.
Yeah.
I need to know, air guitar, how do you get started in something like this?
So I got started in air guitar a couple years back. I saw a fun little documentary called Air Guitar Nation.
Now, look, hold on. Part of our show, we talk about films.
Where could you find this
But we
documentary?
also want to find interesting, fun people to bring on the show. And what do you know? He started because of a film. It's
Bam.
full circle here, folks, in Mind Over Movies. All right, so you saw this film.
The film, yeah, it's called Air Guitar Nation.
Okay.
And so competitive air guitar has been going on worldwide for a very long time.
Right.
America is kind of new, relatively new into the scene. And Air Guitar Nation talks about the first time the United States has entered these like kind of ridiculous, crazy competitions.
Right.
And I saw the documentary and I was like, this is stupid and dumb and awful and beautiful and amazing. And I just need to look into doing this. So
Right.
I signed up the next chance that I could get and I've just been doing it.
Wow, that's
ever
great.
since.
Awesome.
Now let me ask you this, because a lot of people, I mean, they have to laugh at you at
Oh,
saying
100%.
that you professionally compete
Yeah.
in air guitar competitions.
Yes.
But you know what? Every year when they're like, "Oh, who won the hot dog competition?" I'm like, "Well, why? That's a lot sillier than an air guitar competition."
But it is pretty
I feel
impressive,
like
though.
no, it's
It's
not
quite
impressive. Hot
impressive.
dogs, eating hot dogs, I don't find that
When
impressive.
Joey
Chestnut scarfs down 74 hot dogs. That's you know.
I could
find-
maybe eat 74 a year.
I find like there takes practice to this. There takes a lot of knowledge
Oh,
to it. You
definitely,
have to do
definitely.
it. So what kind of routines do you do? Or
So a lot of people have different, I guess, little warm up tactics.
Right,
I guess.
right. What's yours?
rituals?
The way an air guitar contest works is that there's 2 rounds to each contest,
Mm-hmm.
right? In the first round, you show up with your own song, the song that you're just gonna jam out to. You're gonna have
Okay.
a blast, right? And you have.
Is this a
60
song
seconds.
that you've created, or it's a
that
song
you created?
that you
And
created
it could be
yourself?
any- It
Okay.
could be any song that you want. It could be
Okay.
a real song, and just chop it up. It could be anything you want to. It could be a medley of songs as long as it's 1 minute long.
Okay.
The second round, you don't know what song you're gonna get.
Oh.
The top 5 scores advance to round 2, where you don't know the song that is going to be played, right? That's kind of so you don't know what song it's going to be, but everybody plays the same song.
Okay.
So the guy who's going first is at a big disadvantage because he doesn't know what he's about to hear.
And everybody else does.
Yes,
They
but
know what's
on
going
the
on.
flip side, the guy who's going last all the good moves have probably been taken so far.
What kind of moves? What kind of moves are we talking about here?
I mean,
He displayed some in that performance.
That's true, but what's this judged on? What are the competitions judged on?
Great question. You're judged 4.0 to 6.0 by 3 judges.
Okay.
4.0 being the lowest, 6.0 is the highest. It's the same thing for those keeping track. It's the same thing as the Olympic figure skating scale.
Okay. Isn't there that one judge that's always, what is it, the Russian judge, or what's the judge that always messed up in the Olympics?
That'd be the Ukraine.
The Ukraine, the Czechoslovakia.
I have no idea, but I'm just saying.
So what's the basis in which they
they're looking for 3. There's 3 judging criteria that they go after.
Okay.
There is your technical merit.
Okay.
Which is, you could have no idea how to play the guitar, but if it looks like what you're doing matches the music, that's
right.
What, can you do that? What was that?
I just saw that right now.
Right.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I was playing a G.
Nice.
Okay, so technical merit is one of them.
Yes.
Okay.
The second one is your stage presence, and that is the costume.
Right,
People wear these ridiculous, elaborate costumes, and they have such crazy alter egos. People bring their own pyro
Wow.
to shows and stuff like that. Like, it gets pretty intense. So, like, it's just how invested the crowd gets in who you are and the character that you're bringing to the stage.
Right.
And then the last one's the most important one. It's called airness. And airness it's hard to define. It's like porn though, like you know it when you see it. You're
right.
Like, that guy's got airness. The best
way
that I've ever heard it described. The best way that I've ever heard it described is what you're watching transcends the act of imitation and becomes an art form in and of itself.
Okay.
So this person is no longer pretending to play the guitar. He's
Right,
playing
right,
the
right.
fucking air guitar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to bleep that in the post.
Oh, you could. I could. Don't worry. Let him talk. Let him talk.
This is Howard Stern's
about
This
time.
is the guy who curses the most on the show, by the way. I have not used the bleep
Did you know?
thing more
Actually,
with
did you know that in episode whatever the last one, he says the F?
How you said the
And
F?
and it
What
ends,
is wrong with saying
and
Frankfurt?
it-
I don't understand.
and
I agree.
Yeah,
Frankfurters. That's what's it? Joey
Talking
Chestnut.
about Joey Chestnut.
All right, so you get judged on these 3
Yes.
criterias. What's the crowds like? Are these big events, big venues?
Yeah. A lot of times when I tell people that I do these air guitar they usually think I'm doing it in like a bar or something like that. But my
Right.
favorite part about these is that I've gotten to perform on so many just ridiculous stages. Like I performed in the House of Blues on Sunset Boulevard.
Wow,
You know,
that's fantastic.
You know, Bowery Ballroom in the city. 930 Club in DC that seats 1,200 people. We've sold
Wow.
that out before.
Excellent.
In Finland for the World Finals.
Finland.
Yes.
You went to Finland.
I got
How come you
Amazing.
don't bring me to Finland,
It's
Andy?
incredible.
You don't bring me to Finland. We don't do
Listen,
mind over movies in
we-
Finland.
We can go to Jersey City.
I don't want to go to
Can we
Jersey.
see Matt's belt? Matt's a champion. Can we see his belt,
Wait,
please?
what do you mean? There's a belt. What belt? What belt?
Oh no, there's
What are
a
we
belt.
talking
Matt,
about?
This is like
please,
a big
Matt,
deal.
can we get the belt?
Where is this belt
Where's
from?
that guy that
Championship
sits
belts.
around? Can you carry the
Bring
belt?
the
Who
belt
is this
in,
guy?
please.
Bring
I
out
know
the
who
belt.
this
No,
guy
bring
is.
out the
Where
belt
you going?
behind
Bring the belt in.
the.
Bringing the belt here. This is
Now,
behind.
Matt, is this like a prized possession of yours? Like, do you value this? Like,
Absolutely, 100%. I
Okay.
mean, it's
Come on in. This is
put a lot of time, work, and effort.
Who is this
I
guy?
have no idea. Can I just bring this over to Matt?
Wait, can you stay there for a second?
incredible.
I obviously have to put this on the
Look at
interweb.
this. Now,
Hold on.
What is this from? Where is this from?
US Air Guitars, the organization that runs all these events. You can check out
Okay.
the website. They tell you when you could
US
compete
Air
or buy
Guitar, I'm
tickets.
guessing .com. Okay.
USAirguitar.com. And yeah, they hand forge this themselves.
Wow, that is fantastic.
think.
That is a
Well,
beautiful
wait a minute.
spectacle.
But my question is, but that's not yours. I mean, it's
Heavy.
yours.
It is
thing's
the,
heavy.
It is mine because I am the champion.
But what
That is the
now?
championship
But
belt.
what if between now and next year you just happen to lose it?
Yeah, what
Well,
happens?
Like,
we'll cross that bridge when we maybe come to that.
it's like I got a guy who knows
Well,
a guy.
no, it's
that,
very
you know,
simple. It's very simple. He won't lose it.
He won't lose it.
Keep the belt, man.
you go, keep the
that's
belt.
the way you do it. Keep winning competitions.
Represent
Well, now
Staten
in
Island.
terms of music and movies, right? So what's like your favorite music movie, like Almost Famous or Rockstar or
Right,
any
do you
of
like
those?
any-
Well, Almost Famous is one of my favorite movies. Without question, I think the best music movie is probably Night at the Roxbury.
Oh wow,
That's
yes.
incredible, yeah.
And
Great
I
one.
say
Incredible.
that as not a joke.
And-
I think that's a fabulous.
And
Yeah, it is.
he is like Senor Segue because what we're going to be talking about on the show today is 90s movies and 90s comedy.
90s
So look
comedy,
at
right.
that. Everything's just
Bam.
going full circle with this guy.
Night
I
at the
love it.
Roxbury's, Will Ferrell.
I
in his
want to
prime.
revisit. I want to revisit some air guitar later. I was hoping maybe Matt could give me a lesson. I have these kind of big opposable thumbs. Like
And those are
I just have
useful.
fat fingers.
He has chicken nugget fingers.
and I feel like I wouldn't be able to do that. But maybe you could give me a quick 1 minute lesson later.
absolutely.
We'll do
How
that.
about we go on a break first?
We're going to
And
break
then-
already?
Yeah, we're already going on a break.
Oh my goodness,
Yes.
we can't take a break already.
Listen, it's that hot.
I
of
didn't
a
even
topic.
start talking about movies.
Well, we're at the 10.
Mind over movies. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Mind Over Movies. We have Matt Burns here in studio. Do they
Champion.
call you Aristotle?
Airistotle.
Is that what they call
His
you?
name. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
his stage. Isn't that
Champion.
fantastic? He's the best. All right, let's talk film. Matt and of course Joe is here. Like always, he just never leaves his seat. I don't know. This is my studio. He just never leaves the seat. A lot to get to in the film world. A lot of news to get to. Let's start with the box office from last week. 2 big films came out. Big Hero 6, the animated Disney film,
Heard it was
pulled
awesome.
in $56 million at the box
I heard
office.
this movie was great.
This was the big
I
one.
really
This is
gotta
the
check
one
it
we
out.
didn't get to see because we spent so much of our time in the Interstellar film, which takes up about 3 hours of anybody's film. So after that, you're like, I don't want to go to the movies for about 4 weeks after this. Interstellar opens to 47.5 compared to Inception, which opened to 62.7, and Gravity last year, which opened to 55. So the lowest of the three. Let's jump in with an Interstellar review. Me and Joe got to see this. Joe, your thoughts on it before I chime in. Do we like this film? Do we love this film? Do we hate this film? Tell the audience.
I mean, Nolan has had a habit lately of confusing the hell out of the audience. But I mean, I told a couple of people I had this conversation before that the way Interstellar was for me, I really liked the first 75% of the movie.
The first 75%.
The first 75, the plot was on point, and then little plot change. The last 25% was just terrible in my opinion. I couldn't take the. I don't want to spoil it, but certain things change and they go into certain dynamics that veer away from space, and it just gets.
It opens up in this beautiful kind of 2001 Space Odyssey way. It opens up as a great, solid, beautiful visual effects space movie. You're like, this is a great space film. And then you start getting these kind of interesting plot lines that just kind of don't make sense to the rest of the film.
I mean, great acting from McConaughey.
Oh, Matt McConaughey was fantastic.
Was Casey Affleck even needed in that film? I don't
No,
think
I
he was
don't.
needed.
I don't
I have
think
a-
so.
Chastain was great.
I heard from other people that are not as big into movies that you have to have some type of physics degree to understand that
Well,
movie.
that's what I said. I said,
Yeah.
seeing this film, you really should have a physics degree from MIT in order to really understand it, because it's very, very complex. It's very confusing, but it's kind of confusing in a good way.
And Nolan's done this before with Inception. It's the same exact. He's done the same exact
You're
thing.
not supposed to understand this unless you're in astrophysics or something like that. You're not supposed to understand a lot of this stuff. But as long as you get the way that the plot is moving and where it wants to go, that's really the main job. But the problem is that it gets too Inception-y towards the end, and it becomes this kind of difficult to grasp film that's just so much different than what you were watching for maybe the first 2 hours.
I had this conversation with one of our friends, Dan, and we said that this is not a movie that we don't want to see this again, at least for another 4 or 5 years.
I disagree. I want to see this film again. I remember seeing Inception twice in the theater. I remember a film like Shutter Island. I saw it twice and loved it the second time. And you've seen 2001: Space Odyssey. You're a big fan of this. I'm not gonna lie. This film compares in many ways to 2001: A Space Odyssey. Well, there you go. Your Stanley Kubrick tattoo. This film compares a very big way to it. I actually liked it better than Gravity. Gravity was this big visual effects. Everybody loved it, but the acting really wasn't on point, and the plot lines and stories were so Hollywood. The ending was so Hollywood. Yeah, the ending of this wasn't necessarily good, but I actually enjoyed this film. I wouldn't say that it's 5 brains worthy, but I'd probably give it in the 3 brains, but I would watch it again. I would definitely own it. And I would definitely say that anybody who hasn't seen it should at least witness it and see the film. That's at least the one thing I can
it's
say.
more of an experience than it is a movie.
Exactly, especially in IMAX or a 4K
Right, exactly,
screen.
because the graphics are great and CGI is incredible.
But we were talking about Matt. Matt read a review earlier that said that the sound mixing was bad, and it was.
Really
Some of the
complained about it.
dialogue drops out. Some of the sound effects are a little overwhelming for a lot of points. So I'd stay in around 3 brains for this. That's 3 stars or whatever you want to call it.
Can I rate a certain amount of the movie and then change it?
Yeah, sure. You could do
Well,
that.
'cause
That's
the
groundbreaking. Nobody's done this before.
The first 75%. Well, you could make the same case for Goodfellas as well.
Right, exactly.
I mean, for Interstellar, I think the first 75% of it was probably like a 4.5 out of 5 brains.
McConaughey was fantastic.
Then the
by
last
way.
25% of it was probably about 2 brains.
Wow. Okay.
Whoa, you thought the ending of Goodfellas fell apart?
A lot of people say this.
Big
A lot of
time.
people say this. I don't agree. I love
Whoa,
that.
whoa.
Wholeheartedly.
But
Wholeheartedly.
why?
And what do you think
what
about
specifically?
Goodfellas?
It just
okay.
drastically slowed down. Some of the,
It did slow
the
down.
characters just
It
there was no more
it-
Tommy. There was no
it
it's just-
dragged out. I mean, we didn't need to really get that. I mean, you know the sauce. You got the whole sauce.
Right,
thing and
right.
everything. But I mean, it just
That whole paranoia scene.
yeah,
of,
like
terrible.
action packed, and it's like I'm just following a drug addict around.
Right,
for the
right,
rest of
right,
the
right,
day.
right.
lyrics
Big topic.
and stuff.
We talked about this on our Facebook page. Big topic of discussion this week. Toy Story 4 was announced. Toy Story. Ooh, I have
Burns
a woo
don't like
and
this.
a boo.
Burns, why don't you like it?
A lot of people
it.
don't like this move. Matt, what do you not like about this move that Toy Story 4 gets announced?
There are very few trilogies as good as the Toy Story trilogy.
I agree. I completely agree with you.
I mean, very few.
But how many good quadrologies are there?
That's a good question. Bold first, they're going after.
That's
But
true.
I think that the third Toy Story was just the most brutal emotional beatdown.
I
was.
agree. I totally agree.
It was
with
great.
you.
It was
I
great.
was
That
bawling my
incinerator
eyes
scene?
out.
Oh my
From the
god.
incinerator scene was
It's
so
just like-
scary. Exactly, because
Yeah.
they held hands.
Nobody wants to see a crying Woody. I'm sorry.
No.
Nobody wants.
Wait,
Well,
do we have a
speak for yourself.
synopsis? There is a synopsis for the upcoming that you
there
can
is no. It
No,
just was
not yet.
announced
Announced,
except for
okay.
2016.
See, but Matt, I could
17.
Matt, the characters they don't age. You know, so you keep the same characters.
And you get to keep seeing Toy Story.
But,
It's
but
like-
we are already doing that. Pixar's already doing that with the shorts that they're doing, which I think is a great.
I agree.
Right.
We get to focus
There's a Christmas
Toy
one.
Story
There's a
and
Christmas
Terror
one
and
coming
all
out.
that.
Party Stories Rex was great. And
There's a
all
Christmas
these
one coming
shorts
out this
are
year,
they're
too.
so funny, and we're still hanging out with the toys. But the big story was wrapped so neatly,
Right.
with such a perfect little bow.
Well, what I think they're
I
doing
tell you,
is
I
slap
don't
in the
like the
face,
fact.
like, you know?
I don't like the fact that most likely this film is going to have to deal with that new girl character.
that's what's gonna happen.
And that I don't like. They're Andy's toys, all right? They need to be
Well, they're
Andy's
getting
toys.
passed down. That's what's happening. Well,
I know, I
the
don't
same
like
thing with
them
Pirates of
being
the
passed
Caribbean. Like the Pirates of the Caribbean wrapped the trilogy, and then the fourth one started a new kind of another trilogy.
But if we already passed Andy's toys on, shouldn't we leave with it? Like, isn't
that's
the
a good
whole
question.
thing like?
Well, I mean,
I-
see, whose story is it? It's the toys' story. It's not Andy's story. It's the toy story. So
That's true.
I think you know if it comes down to it, I could go up to 8, 9 Toy Stories. I'll always love those films.
Here's
no
the
matter
thing, though.
what.
Has Pixar really made a bad film? They
That's-
really haven't.
that's
They've
the
made
thing.
okay.
They made 10 to 15 films.
Matt, have you ever seen The Brave Little Toaster?
Oh, the brave little
Brave
toaster.
Little Toaster, what an acid trip of a first act that is.
Thank you.
And on that note, we'll take our second break. Jeez, we're taking a lot of breaks here at Mind Over Movies. We'll be back.
Yes.
Aristotle. I'm with Aristotle, and we're learning a little bit. I'm going to close this
Aristotle.
so you can see my hands.
Now you got to remember that when you put your guitar on,
Okay.
right? When you put it on, it has to have weight to it because you're holding.
Right,
You know
right.
what I mean? If you don't believe that you're holding a guitar, how are they?
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it has to have weight to it.
Okay.
And you need to get a good sense of scale where your low notes and where your high notes. I call them my spiddle-a-deets because you play spiddle-a-diddle-a-diddle-a-diddle. Exactly.
Okay.
And yeah, dude, and you just.
And what kind of guitar are you gonna play?
I'm looking for a nice electric. I want to
Like-
riff.
like,
I
all
want
right.
to tear up the screen.
All right, then you're playing a Gibson Les Paul. It's about 12 pounds, so it's gonna. All right, there you go.
There you go.
All right, you ready? I got
All right.
I got a song up.
All right, go ahead.
All right.
Nevertheless, in my microphone.
Hold on. I got it.
Cut.
Okay, I know this song. I don't know. See, now where am I right now? Because I don't have a pick.
Well,
What should
that's
I
up to
do?
you. Are you playing with or without a pick?
Without a pick.
Without a pick?
Without a
Then
pick.
stop holding
All right, here
it.
comes the
Okay,
first
stop
verse.
holding the pick then. Okay, I'm just gonna watch you, Matt. Can I just watch you? Oh, see, he does this high strum, low strum. I'll just throw in the drums. Joe, you play the saxophone.
there, bud.
Joe's gonna play the saxophone. I'll play the drum.
I'll play the drum.
No, I play the drum.
There's
You
no
play the flute.
there's no sax in this song.
Done.
Look at this guy.
The best. Whew. I broke a sweat. I broke a sweat doing that.
Well, it's a great workout. I go to Zumba.
No wonder why
to
you're so
stay in
skinny.
track, to
No wonder
stay in
why-
shape.
My
Now
mother
let me ask you.
teaches
This
Zumba.
must be a question that you get a lot. But do you play the real guitar?
I started learning to play the guitar to get
Wow.
better at the air guitar.
Let's look at that. Okay.
You're a little
And I
reversal
did.
there.
And it was interesting learning to play the guitar because I don't really listen to too much of the stuff that I perform.
Right.
I don't really listen to all the the heavy metal and all that stuff. I listen to like reggae. So when I learned, I started learning my chords for my
Okay.
placements and stuff because I didn't want to get too specific. Right. I felt if I was learning,
what do you call those things?
Spiddly-diddly-deets.
Spiddly-diddly-deets.
Spiddly-doodly-deets.
Oh, that's the name of the movie that they make about us.
Spiddly-diddly-deets.
About
the movie.
Aristotle and then his protege, and his protege tries to take.
What's your air guitar name gonna be?
It'll be Willie Oz.
Appropriate.
Willie Oz.
With the usual suspects.
And I have Spiddly Dots, not Spiddly Deets.
Well, it's each their own, bud. Distinct styles.
Let's finish with some news here.
How about the Billy Note Gruff?
What? So Evil Dead is coming to Stars. They're rebooting the series, and they're going to put it. I believe it's going to be with Bruce Campbell.
It's a sequel.
Yes.
It's a sequel.
It's a
Bruce
sequel
Campbell's
series.
been
Is he in it, or is he
I think
involved
it says that he's going to be.
He's in it.
Yeah, he wants to star. I mean, what else is he doing?
Yeah, but
Bruce
like
Campbell.
every other TV series that comes up, how are they going to turn this into a TV series?
It's a sequel series.
I think this can be a pretty good series, especially as a horror genre, which there's not that many of.
Right.
I don't know anything about it. It'd be awesome if it was almost like an anthology.
Yeah. That would be cool. Johnny Rockets, listen to this one. This is an interesting one. Johnny Rockets, by 2018, wants to have 200 drive-in movie theaters across the country. It's
great.
part of their job to bring back 50s nostalgia. It's part of their job to bring back 50s drive-ins, 50s drive-thrus. They're going to have a nice setting where they'll have the milkshakes and the nice 50s themed and everything like that.
They're going to have girls on rollerblades?
I hope so.
That's all.
200 new drive-ins. Also, let's Suicide Squad, the Marvel film? No,
yes.
DC film. DC film has just got a...
It's going to be right after Batman vs. Superman.
Couple of interesting casting updates. I'll go to Joe for those. Joe.
Yeah, so basically, the it's not official yet, but Jared Leto is getting rumored to play the Joker in Suicide Squad movie.
Okay.
He's not in the actual Suicide Squad in the comics. His gender opposite is Harley Quinn,
right?
And she was casted recently. Margot Robbie's gonna be playing.
Margot Robbie. She's from Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street. She's gonna be playing Harley Quinn.
The beautiful fox.
And if Leto gets casted as Joker, it's gonna be interesting to see if he could challenge Ledger's, or he's gonna just go total opposite direction of what he did. But it's gonna be interesting.
Aren't you missing a special superhero news update?
What else are you talking about?
I'm talking about the crazy, wonderful, amazing rumor that's going around that there's going to be an Aunt May film from Spider-Man.
Oh, but that's... I don't want to touch on that.
Have you heard this? I mean, this is like a big rumor that Aunt May,
I hope
the aunt of Spider-Man...
Is she going
to remember Aunt May and Uncle Ben?
Is she just going to bake pie?
I don't know, but I kind of want to see this movie.
No, you don't.
I want to see this. I want to see Sally Field as Aunt May.
It had to be Sally Field who pitched this movie. You know that.
Yeah.
No.
I used to be the flying nun.
They love me. They
I
really
was the
love
flying
me.
nun.
No, but she conceals Spider-Man's identity for at least 30 years.
True.
So it's going to be close call. It's going to be all about close calls.
I don't know. This is been on a bunch of websites.
I mean,
there's this whole Aunt May.
That's more of a show on.
I'm just surprised that the resident superhero guy doesn't know.
I mean, I knew about it. I just didn't want to talk about it.
Well, you should talk about amazing movies instead of talking about all these mundane Deadpool and Spider-Man.
Oh, I can't wait for those.
Who cares? We care about the real people. Aunt May and Uncle Ben.
Screw Aunt May.
I need to relate.
Imagine Aunt May. We see how Aunt May deals with the Uncle Ben death. This is.
No one cares.
Anyway,
who cares about
I'm a little upset right now because of him not saying who cares. One more break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about 90s comedies, and especially Dumb and Dumber 2, which hits theaters this weekend.
And we're back.
Welcome back to Mind Over Movies. Episode 8 is just moving along and going so well. I want to start talking about 90s comedies. Dumb and Dumber 2 hits theaters this weekend. It's been 20 years since Dumb and Dumber 1. First of all, I want to put a little news. Jennifer Lawrence actually vetoed over her cameo in this film. She was supposed to have a cameo in Dumb and Dumber 2. She then, when it was on the cutting room floor, she said, "You know what? Better not. Let's not do it." I don't know what could have been in this cameo, but the bottom line is, when you're trying to go for Oscars and such, you kind of don't want to have, you don't want to be associated to.
Or how about when your naked pictures leak?
Yeah,
maybe you don't
well, there's that too.
First thing since the.
Maybe she should have. I don't know. It was probably going to be cut a couple of months before the whole nude scandal. So, but yeah, she cut her thing. Dumb and Dumber. We got to talk about this classic 90s film. Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels go in here. I want to talk about more 90s comedies, some of our favorites. Joe has a list of the top 10 of the list is of 30.
We're gonna go top 15.
Okay, what is this from? Where is this from?
This is from ENT, I guess Entertainment, ENT13.com.
ENT13.com.
Haven't heard too much about them, but
what's the list title?
This is the top 30 90s comedies.
Top 30 90s. Let's look at the top 15. Let's start with number 15, Matt. We'll see if we agree with these.
Okay.
With these.
Right.
15's There's Something About Mary.
Good, solid film. Ben
Solid,
Stiller had a
rock
nice, solid 90s, I would say.
14, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Part 1?
Jeez.
Pet Detective, yes.
Oh.
13, Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. 12, Office Space.
Okay,
that's
underrated. I could definitely see that would be yours.
Favorite 90s film.
11, Vegas Vacation.
Vegas Vacation, my favorite.
Wow.
One of my favorite top 5 comedies.
10, City Slickers.
Oh, I love it. Another favorite. Jeez, they're getting all my goodies.
9.
Who wrote this list? Me?
9, the infamous Happy Gilmore. Who
Ah.
I was for Halloween my senior year. Matt, you remember that?
Spectacular.
Senior
Thank
year
you.
for
Absolutely
Halloween.
spectacular. Well done,
Do
sir.
you know that was he a good one? Did he do good?
Huh?
He was Halloween. He was
Full
he was,
character?
Wow.
Happy Gilmore. Had the hat, had the Boston Bruins jersey. It was
Wow,
beautiful.
nice.
8, Tommy Boy.
Okay.
7, Kingpin with Bill Murray and Woody Harrelson. Very underrated.
movie's
Also another
Very
underrated film.
underrated
Great
film.
one.
6, American Pie. 5, Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. 4, Home Alone,
Home Alone.
which just
Wow.
makes the cusp
yeah.
of 1990, which
That's
is great.
true.
3 is Wayne's World.
Uh-huh.
Mike Myers
Absolutely.
and Dana Carvey. 2, Clerks. Kevin Smith film.
And number 1?
And number 1
Ooh.
is the aforementioned Dumb and Dumber.
Wow, look at
Wow.
that.
Wow.
Dumb and Dumber. So Farley's are up there a lot. They seem to have had a solid 90s. The Farley brothers are the people who direct and I believe they write as well all of these movies. They've written Dumb and Dumber. There's Something About Mary, Me, Myself, and Irene, Shallow Hal, Dumb and Dumberer. They just wrote the characters.
Also,
for that.
one more thing.
Stuck on You, Hall Pass, the Three Stooges remake, and Dumb and Dumber 2.
They put on for honorable mentions. They put Pauly Shore movies.
Yes, this is a guy who's fallen off the face of the earth. You know, it's so sad.
He was in Entourage. He was in Entourage.
Yes, he was in like one episode of Entourage.
He was like season like 3 or
was
something.
he was in the
too.
Playboy Mansion, I
Yeah,
think,
he's
right?
the kid out of Playboy
Did you
Mansion.
ever see the movie Pauly Shore is Dead?
Yes, I actually really like this film.
I had no idea that was going to, I guess,
Right.
really understand what it was because I was maybe 14, 15 when I
Right.
saw that, thinking it was a Pauly Shore movie, and it was way too meta for me
Yeah,
to really wrap my
very
mind
dramatic and just very way too meta.
Can we talk Jim Carrey for a second?
Yes, let's talk Jim
Okay,
Carrey, who's had a
so-
fantastic career.
Out of all his movies, I have to say like my top comedy
Comedy,
of
okay.
his has to be. I mean, it's close, but I would say Ace Ventura just edges Dumb and Dumber.
Really,
I would.
I prefer When Nature Calls.
Do you really?
I do.
I like The Mask. I don't know if we could. My
Mask
favorite.
is great too.
One of my favorite movies of all time, I would say it would fall under comedy as well as drama. Would be The Truman Show. That is just
That's great too.
one of
yeah.
the most outstanding films anybody will ever see. To be honest with you,
great in The
some other
Majestic.
90 films. He's got the Cable Guy in there. You don't want to doubt
Cable
that.
Guy's great
Who
too.
could forget his being Riddler in Batman Forever?
Yes. Liar.
Liar.
Oh,
Come on.
Great.
The
great
Liar.
movie.
The Mask.
The blooper reel for
The
Liar
color
Liar.
of the pen is
better
blue.
than most movies.
Yeah. Prenuptial agreement.
A goose.
amazing.
So
You know a movie I'm surprised was not on that list? I figured Clueless would be
Clueless.
top 15. Yeah,
I'm
nice.
sure it was top 30, but top 15 is hard to crack in the 90s. You know.
Yeah,
That's true.
What about My Cousin Vinny?
That should have been there.
Man.
That should have been there.
A
That-
showstopper.
That's
Well
probably
done,
one of my
buddy.
favorite movies ever.
I didn't hear any Robin Williams films in there. Either.
No, yeah. Me
I
neither.
mean, Mrs. Doubtfire wasn't in that top 15.
I guess you
You
could
know,
say. I guess you could say he did more family films.
True,
Is that,
I
I mean,
guess,
is that fair?
But Home Alone
Yeah.
was top 3.
But I
That's
feel like
true.
Home Alone and I feel like Mrs. Doubtfire is more racier than Home Alone, and Home Alone's number 4 on that list.
That's
Blank
true.
Man didn't make it.
Oh, I love Blank.
Blank Man.
Alex, we completely forgot to mention that Alex is here today. Oh, my favorite.
Hey, Alex.
Cry laughing watching Home Alone.
Home
Home
Alone
Alone's
is
great.
it's
Home
funny
Alone's
to
a great-
everybody.
great-
It appeals
great
to every
movie.
audience. It really is. It's fantastic.
film.
Every
Even the
Christmas.
Birds in the
You have to
second one.
watch it every Christmas.
Who?
Every
Who
Christmas.
did Home Alone? Was that Columbus?
Home Alone was Columbus.
Who we
yes.
met.
Yes, who we did meet.
Me and Aunt met him. Matt.
Here's a picture.
Great guy.
Here's a picture of me and
Great
Joe
guy,
and Chris
Matt.
Columbus.
Oh, yeah.
I love Chris Columbus. So Dumb and Dumber 2 hits theaters this weekend. What do you guys think about this film? How do you think it's going to be? Let me start by saying the trailer of this film I was not happy with in the beginning, but it kind of grew on me because I think the Farley brothers are kind of still set in the 90s in their comedy. So does their kind of comedy mature, or is it going to be the same kind of 90s comedy that we expect from Dumb and Dumber, the first one? What do you expect?
I think it's going to be everything that we expect from from them from the 90s, but I think that might be a problem. Like, I like the trailer a lot, but you not liking the trailer, maybe because that kind of comedy hasn't really been around.
Right, but now the trailer has started to grow on. This trailer has really started to grow on me. I'm
because
looking forward
it's so
to this
familiar. Film. It's such an appropriate. It's so true to the first movie that I thought it was.
I'm interested to see if their chemistry and timing is still on together, but I think that there's a YouTube critic, Chris Stuckman, who said it. I think he said it perfectly. He said, I mean, he saw the movie already, but he said it was like being friends with someone growing up your whole life, being close with a friend the whole while. Then you distance yourself, no argument, nothing. Then 20 years later, you give them a call, how you doing? You get back together, have dinner, but it's just not the same. But you still enjoy it.
That's what I feel about generally about sequels to comedy films,
especially over a certain amount of time like this.
Yeah, I mean, like why wouldn't you're gonna tell me you wouldn't want to sit through another Ace Ventura film with Jim Carrey, not that third one they did with the kid? You wouldn't want to sit through another Mrs. Doubtfire if Robin Williams was still alive. Fantastic.
That's
Even
amazing.
Yes Man was a decent film.
Yes Man was a decent film.
It was fun to watch. Fun with Dick and Jane was good.
Right.
The one that I didn't like was one of his most recent comedy films with Steve Carell. The Incredible Burt Wonderstone. I didn't really like that.
He had a secondary
that's true.
lead in that.
All right, let's close out our show. We had such a full and fun show today, and what better way to close out our show than the way we opened the show with Matt Burns on a little air guitar, one of the most popular songs that I think any guitarist
from the champion
envies to play, from the champion himself.
Will you join me? We guys round out the band?
No, I will not even do that. I will not round out any band because I'm horrible at this. But here, I'll hold your belt next to you as you play us out. Matt Burns, ladies and gentlemen. Matt, how do we find you? How do we find you if we need to track you and see where you're going next, where you're playing next? What are you playing next? Like, what's next for you?
The US Air Guitar season starts up again in June. Go to usairguitar.com and you'll find tour dates. You'll find entry lists and all that fun jazz.
Twitter handle.
Twitter handle, yes.
Twitter, you can find me AO_Matt Burns.
AO_Matt Burns.
Facebook.com/Airistotle.
That's right.
/ or front slash?
Air. Get it? Do you guys get that? Airistotle, because he plays air guitar.
With the letter switch.
Fantastic. Matt Burns, fantastic. I wish you all the success.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for the belt, by the way. Matt Burns, say goodbye, ladies and gentlemen. Bye, Mind Over Movies. Ant, why don't you play us out? Matt, why don't you play us out?
3, 2, 1, go.
Not worthy.
Where do you go?
Where do you go? Where do you go?
Where do you go now? Where do you go now? Where do you go now? Where do you go now?
Oh, good show.